Back to the first reading here. Again, it says the letter to the Hebrews, but more of a homily to this mysterious author, maybe St. Paul. Again, right into Jewish Christians who most likely were Levi priests. And these Levi priests were going back to the old sacrifices. And so this whole letter is about this mysterious speaker urging them not to do that. Okay, and we're going to see why. So here it is, just continuing on from yesterday's reading. Since the children shared in blood and flesh, that's the Hebrew way of just saying humanity. So when it talks about, the human person or humanity, they often use that term blood and flesh. Jesus likewise shared in them, the incarnation, became man, that through death he might destroy the one who has the power of death, that is the devil. There's many ways in which God can conquer the devil, because he's God. But he chose to kind of go behind enemy lines, so to speak. We just celebrated Christmas. Christmas is like in a way that maybe, troops are parachuted behind enemy lines, hopefully undetected. And that's kind of like what the incarnation is, being dropped behind enemy lines in a very, not so glamorous way that God enters in the world. Instead, he enters, in a stable in Bethlehem. People didn't make much of it, except for some shepherds and some wise men who went and saw him. But he did so, again, to destroy the power of death. The devil has the authority over death. He's the one that convinced our first parents, Adam and Eve, who disobeyed God and thereby bringing this death into the world. And to free those who through the fear of death, this is my favorite line in the whole reading here, through the fear of death have been subject to slavery all their life. Boy, is that not true? Are we not slaves to the fear of death? Does it not kind of dictate all of our actions that we do? We say we have freedom, and we do. True freedom lies within Christ, but often our freedom is hindered because we're afraid to die. And all the choices that we make, all the choices that we make in life is to try to prevent death from happening in our life. And not just the physical death, but we're called to death in many many other ways. We're called to possess things, but be able to let it go, be able to die to those things, and all those things we kind of are attached to as well, whether it's material things or things like pride and power. We're slave to all those things. We're afraid to die to those things. We're afraid to let it go. And so Jesus, by becoming man, for the very purpose of gaining a body so that he can offer the body as a sacrifice. And then with the resurrection, the whole belief of that is to meant us to be freed of death. That's what the martyrs had. The martyrs were able to let that fear go because they believed in the resurrection. And so we continue. Surely he did not help angels. Nope, this wasn't for angels. He took a body to help us, the descendants of Abraham, whether through the Jewish bloodline or through faith, the faith of Abraham. He took a body to help us, and therefore he became like his brothers and sisters in every way, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest before God. So the first time in this reading the word high priest is used might be the first time in the New Testament that Jesus is referred to as the high priest. Now, it doesn't mean that in the Gospels he wasn't, a priest. He surely was. There's many allusions of Jesus doing priestly actions that gives us the impression that he is the high priest, but Hebrews is the first place where it calls Jesus a priest. He's a priest, and we need a priest. Why do we need a priest? Because a priest, offers sacrifice to expiate the sins of the people. And so, the last line, because he was tested through what he suffered, He is able to help those who are being tested. Like I said, there's many ways in which God could have saved us and destroyed the devil and saved us from death. But he decided to enter through all of our human miseries and weaknesses of our life, just for the sole purpose of us having to be able to identify with him, where now we can read the Gospels, we can read the actions of Christ, and we can say, wow, he knows what I'm going through. He knows what I'm going through, not because he's God, but because he lived through the experience. He knows what it's like to be rejected. He knows what it's like to be alone. He knows what death tastes like. He knows all these things personally and intimately, and wishes to help us in these struggles. Because now we have not just God up there who loves us, but now we have our older brother, so to speak, Jesus Christ, able to be with us and our companions through our sufferings in our life. May God bless you.